Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Threezero MDLX SIDESWIPE. Now, you guys might have noticed in my last sale, I sold off all my MDLX figures. I did that because I missed out on a couple of them in the beginning, and I figured, well, if I can't complete the team, I don't want them. Well, it turns out they reissued all of them just last week, and I had this guy on pre-order still, so I figured, okay, I'm back in. I re-pre-ordered all of the older ones, and now we have this one. So we're going to have the whole team. I don't have any other ones to compare him against right now, but at some point we'll have the whole team, at least of the Autobots. I think I'm going to leave out the Decepticons because Starscream was such a disappointment. Anyway, this one looked pretty good, and we happen to have it still, so we're going to review it. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I'll show you my package. It's a pretty good package. The window makes up a very small portion, but it's still nice enough looking, and the artwork they use is very appealing, so that's good. Photo on the side. He's not the most good looking figure in a neutral pose, but just don't look at that photo, I guess. He does look pretty good in other poses. Be aware, he doesn't light up. They like to do photos like this. He does not light up. I like how his blaster isn't lined up right, though. That's a funny shot right there. Look at where the gun is. Anyway, there you go. Some more. It's good from the front. Let's just say that. The packaging is good from the front. Okay, so let's do a quick question of the day. Have you been won over to the non-transforming Transformers figures yet if you were not into that sort of thing? Or are you going to only ever get transforming figures if you are on that side of the fence? Let me know. For me, I love non-transforming Transformers figures. I don't transform them out of bot mode almost ever anyway, and this makes bot mode look so much better than a transforming figure most of the time, or at least it's cheaper to do. Anyway, let's move on. He stands about 15.5 centimeters. That's going to make him just about, let's call it 6, maybe 6 1/8 inches. Here he is up against a Marvel Legends Darwin for comparison. He is not a large figure, so the price point is a little more questionable on the smaller ones, but they have really high quality, and they come with a good enough spread of accessories that, I'll tell you right now, I don't mind the price point at all. And if you do want to get yourself one, I'll put a link in the description below, and you can decide for yourself if it's worth it. But so far, I've not been disappointed, other than with Starscream, with any of these MDLX figures overall. I think they're pretty darn cool. So there's that. All right, let's get into the aesthetic on this guy. I love it. Unlike Starscream, who didn't make any sense, this guy has gloss for the red parts and satin for the black parts and flat for the gray parts, and then like a metallic finish for, like, not a glossy metallic, but a nice metallic finish for the silver. Everything on him makes good sense. I think he looks really, really good. He's going to fit in nicely with the Autobots, assuming they have good paint jobs when they get reissued and I get them back in my collection. The details on this line are usually pretty good. I think his are some of the best. The metallic paint in the eyes does kind of make it look like they're glowing, and the sculpt and paintwork is nice. Everything on here is pretty darn clean. The wash, the way they do the line work is basically with a wash, and it's pretty consistent, pretty uniform around this guy. I don't see any real issues. I think it looks nice. He's not the most involved. I've never been a huge fan of the Transformers that have just the car hood for the chest. I think it's a little bland looking, just the big flat thing. And that's why he can get a little boring in some poses, but I do think they executed nicely, and where they could add some nice details, they did. It's well done. I'm very pleased with this guy. He looks way better than I thought he was going to. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to get back into this line, honestly. So they released this guy and those pre-orders at just the right time. He actually does have transparent plastic for the window up here, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, he's a good looking figure. By the way, this doesn't have to be on here. This is an accessory. I just have it on because I think it looks good. But yeah, he's a good looking figure, so I'll give him a 9 out of 10. There's not a whole lot you can do to really make this guy look much better. So yeah, pretty darn good. As far as accessories, like I mentioned, we do have the 2 red things on his shoulders, like by his neck area. Those can pop off either side, so you can put the gun on either side. And the gun thing does have a hinge in it, so that's pretty nice, and it's pretty nicely detailed. You do get his pistol also, again, pretty nicely detailed, and a decent spread of hands. Nothing crazy, but you do get these other things. I don't know what they're called exactly. One looks like a meat tenderizer, and one looks like a poker thingy, and those swap out for his hands also. And that's it. Nothing crazy. This line is not the most over-the-top line. They're fairly subdued designs that are close to G1, and they have a decent spread of accessories. I'll give him an 8 out of 10 for accessories. I don't think you really need a whole lot more. Now, as for articulation, they usually pose pretty well, so let's see how this guy functions. The neck is on a ball peg, the head is on a ball peg, so you should, other than where his chin and whatnot bumps into each other, it's going to pose pretty well. You shouldn't have too much trouble there, so that's good. Shoulders, we do see some die-cast joints in here, die-cast into palm, which is a wonderful combination for joints, so that's very good. So you got this big ball peg that lets the entire shoulder move around, which is nice, and then you have hinges for both the shoulder pad and the arm. Now that does get a little weird looking, and it works, so it's actually three things. There's a hinge here at the big, let's do this. At this, is it too bright? No, it'll be okay. This is a hinge, or it's probably moving on the ball peg actually. No? Maybe it's an actual hinge. Either way, there's movement at this black circle, and then you have this hinge here on this pin. And then this also has its own hinge at the top. So either way, point being, you can move the arm around very nicely. And if you're careful, it won't look too goofy. If you do it in a weird way, it can look weird, the way this is designed in here. But generally speaking, you're going to be able to pose his arm very nicely, especially using that ball peg. You can sink the arms into the body so that there's very little gap, or you can pull them out a little bit and create more gap. You're going to be able to pose him pretty darn well. Okay, you do get your bicep swivel there, as you would expect. Double jointed elbow, very nicely done. Not the best looking from the side, you can't see much, but hey, he's a transformer. And then ball pegs for the hands, so that's all right. For his torso, leaning back, yeah, not really. He doesn't really lean back at all, but leaning forward, he's got a big hinge that lifts up back here. And it works. He leans forward nicely. So unlike a lot of these companies where everything can lean back, this guy can only lean forward. You can see some more of that nice paint job, which works pretty well. So I'll take that. He does lean side to side, but just a little bit, not a ton, depending on which way. Like if you lean him forward as he's doing it, you get a little bit more, but yeah, he's not bad. And then you get your waist twist. So that's fine. Not the most advanced thing, but it should be enough. You have your standard skirt flaps on ball pegs for the front. The back ones are ball pegged into, or the side ones are ball pegged into these back ones, which are also on a ball peg. So they're kind of tedious to move around, but they will get out of the way for the legs, which are also on die-cast balls, and they work very nicely. So you will have to, oh, I'm so glad that didn't fall off the table. They will pop off before they break. Typically speaking, I've never broken one of these. I've only had them pop off. But they'll get out of the way as you're posing. They go back on pretty easily, but they can be quite a nuisance. But they work, okay? So that's fine. Full-on splits, no nuggets or anything going on down there. You can bring the leg back. There goes another one popping off. If you go back, they pop off because the ball's right there. The ball socket is right in there, so if you bring it back, it has nowhere to go. But whatever. Going forward is fine. You should... Oh, they didn't do it the way I thought. Alright, well it does... Or did they? Oh, they did. Okay, it's just really tight. Yeah, so it is a double ball peg, so you can drop the hip down technically and bring the leg up a little bit higher. Pretty good range. Be aware, though, if you end up with one leg longer than the other, it's going to be that ball peg connecting the hip to the figure. So you'll be able to adjust that. Thigh swivel is fine. It doesn't work too well next to the crotch, so once you pull that out a little bit, you get your thigh swivel. Double jointed knee. Plenty of range, no problem there. That's pretty good. The wheels spin, by the way. That one's kind of stuck. I mean, it goes, but it doesn't go as well. This one spins a lot more freely. That's kind of cool. Ankles are on some big old ball pegs in there, and there's some hinges going on, so they're all tight. Let me do this. This piece can move. We'll do it on this foot, I guess. Which is the best one? I don't know. This piece is on, feels like a ball peg. Yeah, double ball peg. So that'll move to hide the ankle joint a little bit, and you can move the foot around. On those big ball pegs that are in there, you're not going to be able to see them. Big ball pegs, they allow the foot to go forward like that, so this is more flush, or you can cinch them back. It's tricky. Like that. So you can have a different style of ankle joint and foot situation, however you want to do it. You should be able to get pretty good range out of it. He does have the big Mega Man shaped legs though, so obviously there's going to be some limitation, but you can get ankle rocker range out of it. And the toe does move. Man, his balls are tight. Tight balls on this guy, I'll tell you. But the toe does move too, so yeah, it works pretty well. It's a little tricky at first, especially until you figure out where the joints actually are. You might be pushing in the wrong direction or something, but he does pose nicely, and especially once you get used to him, you should be fine. I think he's pretty darn good. So, where'd that flap go? There it is. All right, those guys pop on pretty easily. So when they pop off, it's not a huge deal. All right, so rating for his articulation, I'm going to go 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I think they could have adjusted the ankles a little bit more. Same thing for the torso. But generally speaking, this guy poses really well. And for a Transformer figure with this amount of detail, I'm very pleased with it. So I'm going to give it a final rating of 8.5. No, should I go higher? I'm going to go higher. I'm going to say 9 out of 10. I really like this guy. I like him way more than I thought I was going to. He's got a really nice finish all the way around. Good, consistent design philosophy. He poses well. Good spread of accessories. Yeah, I'm kind of thrilled to get back into this line. And this is a good entry point for those of you who haven't, because, like I said, he's available. He's popping in and out of pre-order / in stock, so I'll put his link in the description below. And if you want to get the other ones, there's B, there's Hot Rod, there's Optimus. Who else do we have? Was it Mirage? I don't remember. No, I don't remember. Because I collect the Flame Toys too. I can't remember. Either way, those are all available too. So check that link out in the description below if you want to get into this line. I definitely recommend it. I love these guys. They're so much fun. And they look great on the shelf. Alright, so there it is. That's enough for me. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, although it basically is every single day. And thousands of videos already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.